I am extremely stoked to have this Disney statue in front of me. Look at this. It looks like, I think we have Aladdin playing dodgeball. I've never seen... It's not? Oh, I see. Look at the Goldilocks there. We have none other than Rapunzel from Tangled. Oh, it's not Disney? Okay. Another Street Fighter statue in the house. Ryu got his hair dyed. It's not Ryu? Oh, it's anime. Alright, I'm still stoked to have a Naruto statue here. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X, and in front of me is by Prime One Studio, Goku, quarter scale from DBZ or Dragon Ball Z. Yes, I know who he is. Now, if you're a follower of the channel, you know I am not a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. I like the statues more than I like the characters. Obviously, I grew up with it like everybody else. And I've actually wilted down my Dragon Ball Z collection over time. I used to own quite a few. In fact, I have had a Goku statue before, kind of. It was this Boo diorama right here that I ended up selling. So now I have a very limited display, and I don't even have them on display, to be honest with you, because I ordered this guy so incredibly long ago, but he is finally here. So my current display will not only include this Goku, but of course Sume Vegeta, in my opinion the best Vegeta out there, and then a couple of the villains. I have some custom realistic villains that I think look absolutely amazing. First is this Boo, one of my favorite anime statues. Actually, you can see it in this countdown. And then, of course, the Cell right next to it. Now, I don't want to say my collection is complete, but I've really narrowed down my anime collection. The only other one I have, technically, is this Sume One Punch Man, which is probably my favorite anime. Although recently, I've been very tempted to get the Prime One Studio Chainsaw Man that just came out, even though I haven't watched it. Again, I think anime statues, some of them, look way better than I actually enjoy the animes. And one could, of course, argue that Berserk falls into the anime, but I think that's more of a manga. But anyway, enough talking about that. We are here to talk about this guy. Now, there's a lot of interesting things with this. So as I dive into this review today, there are a lot of things that I don't remember about Dragon Ball Z. So if I get it wrong and you cry, your mom can make you a sandwich and then you can fuck her. But let's dive into this review. And, you know, an interesting thing, I know when they go Super Saiyan, their hair changes color. But it got me thinking, because, you know, Goku normally has black hair, and you can see that's a switch out option over here we're going to look at. What would I look like with blonde hair? Well, here is a flashback. Check this out right here when I used to have the frosted tips. This was about 25 years ago, so be a little gentle on me. All right, let's dive into this guy, and as a spoiler, Prime One Studio did an amazing job. There are some concerns I have with the statue, absolutely, and we're going to cover those in the review, but let's start with concept, and I think that's where they did an absolute amazing job. One of the coolest concepts out there on so many different levels, and a lot of it actually ties into the design of the statue, which we'll talk about as well. On the base, you have almost multi-layers to this base, so a lot of times there's like a top base where the rocks are coming out, and then almost what I call a sub-base below it. But this has a sub base below that, and so many different things going on. We have some intricate detail. We obviously have the classic ball on the bottom. And I believe their Vegeta has a very similar base, which I'm not getting because I have the Sume. But then you have the action dynamic base here below, where rocks flying everywhere. You have different types of aura effects that he's creating, not only from his energy ball, but also just from his jump and power. And he is mid-air. This is so freaking cool. I really, really like this. And it's just compounded by all the stuff going on around it that makes it look like it's a real action live moment frozen in time. He is in an attack pose. His energy ball is being created, and there's so much power coming out of the back. He is ready to hurl it at his enemy. Depending which portrait you have, they all have a decently fierce expression. In one of his very classic outfits, he is ready to kick ass, and I love this. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think the concept is second to none. If I ever had to grade a statue a 6 out of 5, which isn't possible, I would give it to this one for the concept. So clearly it is a 5 out of 5, knocked out of the park, really well done. Design, like I said, they did some really, really cool things, but there are some disadvantages as well. Before we look at those, here is the unboxing and assembly. Two big boxes, which dramatically increased the shipping price for sure. Had some literature, including some instructions, which I did use. Standard white foam that you usually see with Prime 1 Studios. The first box had 2 layers. Amazingly, nothing was broken. It was packed extremely well. And just in case, it did have a little disclaimer you can see right here. Pacemaker or defibrillators are sensitive to this statue, whatever the hell that means. A little scary. So here's the second box. Now, interesting, look at the tips of his hair. They even put plastic coverings. And even things like this on the aura on the base, they wrapped it up, done extremely well. All right, so really quick, there's 2 versions of this guy. One is the regular and one is the deluxe. I have the deluxe. Not only do I have the deluxe, but this bust holder over here is a custom piece. It doesn't come with the statue. They made a limited run of those to display all the other portraits. We'll talk more about that when we get to value, but I just wanted to let you know that. So here are the different options for display. First, it has a light up feature. This is what it looks like, not lit up. And then you have a button on the back and a USB-C plug to make it light up. Now, it did not come with that. I think that is a huge negative. You're paying this much money for a statue, which we'll get to in value, and you can't supply a $5 plug? Come on. Now, the Deluxe here came with 4 different portraits. Let's look at those. So first, a traditional Goku portrait, which I like quite a bit. Then, Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan, however the fuck you say it. And his mouth is closed. Same thing where his mouth is open, and I think this fits the statue a little more. This is probably my favorite. And then the highest level, I think this is when, I can't remember this, but he had all the hair in the back. This is weird looking to me, but I understand why they did it. Then also with that, you can display some of the lightning aura effects or not. So here are some rocks attached to his body, and again, that adds to the dynamic of the statue. Or here is a picture with all the aura effects. So last display option is this aura effect down at the bottom. This just sets next to it. I think that's kind of cool. I didn't like it until I unboxed it. I think it's neat they add that. It just adds more to the statue. Now, a few things with the design. The way the lightning and aura effects assemble into each other, the option I just talked about with the Deluxe, is very loose. Little bit of a worry there. Same with some of the stuff up here. However, it all works, so I really can't fault them for that, but I am a little nervous. Second thing, you got to worry about the leaning issues over time. They did a pretty solid key, so I'm not incredibly worried, but it's definitely an issue. One big negative I have is you have 4 awesome portraits, and they didn't come up with this idea on their own. That is a big miss in my opinion, because especially when you have the portrait with the long hair, where the hell are you going to put that at?
That's what she said.
So overall, I am incredibly impressed with this design. I think it's above average. You know, when they try and go really dynamic on a design, it's a lot harder to do, so you have to give them more props. But because it didn't come with the cord, because it didn't come with another head display, because some of the aura doesn't stick the best, it's a 4 out of 5. Now, it's close to being a 5 out of 5, but I just can't forgive some of that when they put so much other stuff into it. And it did have a hefty price tag we're going to talk about. Paint and sculpt, spoiler, really, really good. I like it a lot. Makes me want to get the Vegeta, and I really, really want them to come out with more characters from Prime 1. You know, they teased a Frieza 2 years ago. It's never came out. I was planning on buying that to go with my Cell and Boo, and I may someday down the road. But here's some close-up video of what I'm talking about. All right, I want to start with the extra head display holder. Now, keep in mind, this is not made by Prime 1 Studios, so I'm not really judging this, just kind of showing you guys. But obviously you can see that they did it to match not only the balls, but the dragon around the side, the snake. Pretty cool, in my opinion. The cloud effect looks okay. I've seen better, but it doesn't look bad. I'm glad they went with that as far as like a direction. And the base, they tried to match it as well. A little bit different paint colors, you see, where this is all gold and this has some faded silver on the front. And then the torso or partial torso they did looks fantastic. So really nice. Now, regarding the portraits, let's look at all those. So this is, as we're going to talk about in a moment, the one that comes with all the statues, even if you get the regular version. I think they nailed the likeness of Goku fantastic. I think his nose, his teeth, you know, I like this because it's almost a little bit of a realistic take. So they added some more definition to his portrait. His hair looks fantastic. You know, you can see a few tiny strands in there, but they still kept to the traditional anime. And I like that they're all a slightly different expression. That is pretty cool in my opinion. You know, the one with the long hair, they don't have eyebrows. Now, I still left these tips on. These were just for shipping. I'm going to take them off when he gets in his final display space, wherever he is. I didn't really talk about those earlier. But looks great. So let's move to this guy. So the aura effects, I like how it has a semi-translucent effect. You can see that right there, all of them. Even the lightning and energy surge. And different hues of color. So I like how it differentiates. The ones coming from the base are yellow and orange. A little bit of red. And the one around the ball that the ball's generating is all this blue color. Really, really cool. Really nice job on the base. Again, you know, it's interesting, this dragon or snake, I keep calling it a snake, it's a dragon. Much better than this one. You can see the difference there. And the paint is so incredibly clean. So many different colors, and they did a really nice job of separation. There's the button to turn on the light. Rocks look really good. I'm glad they took them to the next level. Generally on a lot of anime statues, especially DBZ, you see the rocks being too smooth. I like the texture and depth they added to them. So just do a 180 here, twice. Yeah, I misspoke, 360. So with Goku himself, first let's look at the ball. The energy effect looks great. Really reminds me of Prime 1 Studios' Ryu. I love this. I think they did a great job with his costume. I like how there's tears in it. The depth of the color in between the creases where the folds in his uniform are fantastic. I think the anatomy is spot on. A few battle scars by him. Like I said, they really added some good realism while maintaining the source material, and I think that's pretty cool. His boots, you can see the folds, the rope. They look like it's actual rope, but everything on here is sculpted. We didn't look at this portrait, but just a killer, and that's why it's my favorite. This is an incredible piece. They really knocked it out of the park with the paint and sculpt. Quick look at the back of his gi here. Worth the wait 100% because the paint and sculpt are truly, truly impressive. Paint, really well done. I mean, I am very, very impressed. Few small tweaks we talked about could have been better. So it's a 5 out of 5 for me on the paint. I like it a lot. Sculpt, I wouldn't say is equally as impressive, but is very, very impressive too. I'd say it's not as good as the paint, but it's still a 5 out of 5. I don't think you can really ask for much more. All right, so is this worth it? I don't know. The reason I don't know is, like I said, they made two different versions. The first version just had the Super Saiyan head like this, but the mouth was closed. It only came with one head, and it was $1,100. They made 250 of those. It also didn't have the aura effects coming out of the rocks on the back. It was just the rocks in the back. Now, as I said, not many people bought that. They only made 250 of these. The Deluxe, which was $250 more, they made 4,500.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Yes, that is huge. One of the biggest edition sizes by Prime 1 Studio ever. Now, Dragon Ball Z has a very large worldwide audience. So I get why they did that, but that really demeans the value of this statue in my opinion when it's so easy to get. Now it is waitlisted through Prime 1 Studios, so in theory they've sold out of most of these, which kind of blows my mind. And I do think this is the best Goku statue out there. However, shipping was another $300, so you're over $1,600 in for a quarter scale piece. At least the deluxe version. I had to buy the additional display for the heads that we looked at. That was another $350. So you're like $1,900 in for this. Now traditionally, most resin DBZ pieces, like a quarter scale, are anywhere from $300 to $800. So you're 3 to 5 times the price for this. Granted, you get a lot. I completely agree with that. And because I don't have a huge attachment to DBZ, I could definitely see myself selling this one day. I'm afraid I could barely make my money back. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 on value because of that massive edition size. Now, does it have the X factor? Is this a 5 out of 5 statue? I already said I think this is the best Goku statue out there. So I do think this is a 5 out of 5 statue. Even if you're not a huge DBZ fan, this looks great. So many cool stuff with this. Definitely glad that I didn't get rid of the rest of my collection and I waited for him because he looks awesome. And I'm going to keep my eye out for anything else from Prime 1 Studio and DBZ because they truly knocked it out of the park. Really impressed. Is it my new favorite anime statue? Probably not, but it's definitely up there. What do you guys think? Is this the best Goku statue out there? Throw that down in the comments below because you could win a statue with that comment. We will be giving all of these statues away plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please hit that like button. If you like stuff like this, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification. It really helps the channel if you do both of those things, and it's easy and free. I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourself.